Today, Mt. Gox, the world's former largest Bitcoin exchange, filed for bankruptcy in Japan. The company applied for bankruptcy protection with $64 million in debt. Mt. Gox lost 750,000 Bitcoins belonging to its customers and 100,000 of its own Bitcoins. Bloomberg News' Carter Doherty is in Washington, D.C. He has been tracking the Bitcoin saga for quite a while now. Carter, my favorite part of this is Mt. Gox saying in a statement the company believes there's a high possibility that the Bitcoins were stolen. Well, yeah, if they weren't stolen, I mean, where could they? I mean, it just reads sort of like a comedy of errors here, that they just disappeared.
It reads a bit like, I don't know, a punch-drunk boxer just sort of shocked at exactly what happened. Yeah, they don't seem to know precisely. It's going to take a lot of smart techies a good amount of time to figure it out, I suspect. And there's probably some cash gone, too. We just don't know.
Well, and the other thing is, if you steal Bitcoin, right, what do you do with it if you had stolen Bitcoin? I mean, there's only so many places you can spend it. And if you get this amount of Bitcoin turning up somewhere, there's so little of it. Wouldn't that be kind of obvious?
Well, the beauty of this crime, if we can call it that, is that this was done over a long period of time, possibly years. So
So it might already be spent.
Trickles into the Bitcoin ecosystem. Who knows? Who knows? There's a sort of cottage industry now going on of people trying to assemble the Bitcoin addresses that were where this money came from, so see if they can track it through this public ledger. Which,
I mean, can you track it? I mean, there's a dispute here as to really how anonymous this is, and people in the Bitcoin community will tell you it's really not. It's not that anonymous of a currency. So does that mean we can actually trace it back to its original home on Mt. Gox?
The tricky part of that is that when you entrust your Bitcoin to Mt. Gox, they are putting it into a company-controlled wallet so that they can resolve trades. Somebody wants to sell Bitcoin for dollars, they pull out of that. They want to buy it, they pull out of that kind of thing. So first of all, you need to know exactly what wallet addresses that Mt. Gox was using, and so far they're not talking. This would all have to start with the company making a good faith effort to figure this out.
Carter, there have been questions about the viability of Bitcoins ever since their inception, and there have been even more questions raised because of what's happened at Mt. Gox. So sort of not just for Mt. Gox, but what's the next move in the Bitcoin world as a result of all this? Do we see regulation, more regulation attempted in some places? We've already seen the prices fall, obviously. What's sort of the next thing?
I think the next thing is already underway, which is a massive effort at damage control and kind of proving that other Bitcoin companies do not suffer from the same problems that Mt. Gox did. That's going to include things like security audits where companies make them public. They're going to attempt to cauterize the damage, but it's probably safe to say that this is the end of the kind of amateur hour of a couple of guys working on computer code, pulling a few all-nighters and setting up an exchange.
Look, Carter, at the end of the day, it's a currency, and a currency needs to be regulated because people need to know that they can trust it. And that's probably, I mean, we did hear Yellen say just yesterday that she didn't actually think it needs to be regulated, but is that really the, I mean,
well, she said they were looking into it.
Does it need to happen? Carter,
I think it needs to happen, and I think there's no regulator who doesn't think that consumer protection is the main focus of this.